Alright y'all, we're back, and we're checking out the Veil of the Nine legendary server Angmar. As you can see, I'm level 21. This is my second character, and I kind of just want to go over the impressions of it so far. There's good, there's bad, and there's a little ugly. Now, my last video, I didn't think it'd go that well. I literally was just having a couple glasses of wine. I thought, I want to talk about Lord of the Rings Online because it was my first real true MMO and it holds a special place in my heart. So I just kind of like wanted to get my thoughts out there about it. And since the reception, kind of just thrown myself back into it to kind of try to reignite that flame. And it's kind of done that, but also kind of reminded me of why I leave every time. Now, in the background here, you're going to see me doing missions. And you might be thinking, the Angmar server, these are progression legendary servers that, you know, end at 50 cap. Missions you don't get until after, you know, the Mordor stuff and you go into the Gundabar dwarf expansion stuff. Yeah, that's part of the problem. You can access these missions, and sometimes in the load screen when you get in there, it'll be like, you're in an unrestricted area. Leave now before you're kicked. And you never get kicked. So you can just do missions to level. I don't know if that's intentional or not. I'm of two minds when it comes to kind of the things that are going on here. But in the background, I am going to be doing missions just because as much as I love leveling, past Bree, the community and the amount of players you see gets really, really sparse as usual. That's usually just how it goes. Let's start with the good. Also, it's the morning, so we're having coffee instead of drinking wine. If I was recording this in the evening, I'd be, you know, we'd be talking about this over wine, but it's in the morning right now. So first thing I consider pretty good is just seeing the community and everybody basically joining the server. There were multiple instances. It felt really alive. It basically felt how an MMO should feel in the beginning, where it's just like shit ton of players. It's a good time. It was a lot of fun. It brings back a lot of good memories, just going around Bree, Combe, RJ. Like it's a very solid experience. One of my favorite things about Lotro and I'd say MMOs in general is the beginning early phases, because the content is in a small area and it's pretty dense and there's just not a lot of wasted space. And so the Bree zone, I just feel like is really well constructed as far as like where you go questing wise. And I just feel like it's really tight. Like with the Lotro leveling experience in general, say the first 50 levels, I feel like you do start off really strong. You kind of dip with like the lowlands and stuff. It's like questing there's okay, but it's a lot of wasted space. And then is it Evendom? Is that how you pronounce it? It goes up again, like they added that content. Oh, I don't know, that was a while back where they revamped all that, and that revamp was really good. And then after that, you just kind of like taper off and wander about. You go to the snowy, I don't think you're really supposed to go to like the Misty Mountains, because like the leveling up there is not great. I don't remember. But you can go to a lot of places after like once you get to like the 30s and stuff. But getting back to the point, the early experience is always amazing. In fact, I wish the game would like somehow like stop you at like level 20, 25, and you would just have to like stay in like those early zones and have to do like all the deeds, find all the landmarks, just like really get all the rich content out of it. I know you can do the level disable, and I know that's why they put it, like that's one of the reasons why they put it in there. And I always found that to be very like a very like almost fulfilling thing to do in this game, because I do like when I usually do come back to the normal servers, I basically just like do everything in Bree, and it's just like a really, really like rewarding experience as far as the progression and how long it takes to do things. It just feels really good in Bree. It's really, I think it's like one of the best experiences. My goal is, I think, just like hit level 50 and like mess around and see what takes, see what really intrigues me. And if I need to jump then to the normal servers, back to the normal servers, and, continue playing there, then I'll do that. But I will hit at least 50 here, because leveling doesn't take that long, and it's just generally a good time to be somewhere. Like, it's good to be in a giant population of fellow Lotro players. So yeah, that's good. Now let's talk about another good thing. So the main shtick with these new progression servers is the Nazgul and the race that will spawn. And those, I think they start at 10, because my first one was in the Sarah Oakheart instance in the cave where she walks like super fucking slow. Like if she had to walk to Mordor, she would never make it, ever. Or she would still be walking there today if she started at the beginning of the game. Just got a little sidetracked there. I found mine first one in that instance at level 11. I gotta imagine just because of like, I think they probably start at level 10. Anyways, when these things show up, it is like throwing down the gauntlet. Like here's one right now. They just randomly spawn and it's go time. Fighting these guys is they hit like a truck. In the earlier levels, you do not have basically your kit to handle them if you are like weak or low on pots. Now, I think some classes handle them better, like Bjornings. Everybody's talking about them. I know they're like overpowered in progression servers, but I'm playing a champion. And yeah, when my first one came up, I had to pop, both my health pots, the one that does the one that just does the flat heal and then the heal over time. I had to pop both those to kill my first one. And then in the open world, if you know you can't handle them, you just have to run. And luckily they don't track after you forever, and they will despawn. I heard they despawn. I haven't actually sat there and seen it, so I'm just going off of what I've heard, in world chat. So them spawning is like it just adds like this certain like dangerous element, and I think that just helps this game so much, because one of the best parts of Lotro is the open world landscape content of just exploring Middle Earth, and it just adds back this element of danger. Now, something I didn't mention back in my other video, because again, it was more of a new feature and it really wasn't a thing when I was playing, was the landscape difficulty scaling. I think this is a great addition. I'm on level 3 difficulty, yeah, for Fearless, because that's when you get, I think, like your title and everything. I don't really know that much about it. I already did lose my Undefeated because I died in the open world 2, one of the Wraiths spawning, and I thought I could take it, and it didn't go well. Again, they hit like a truck, especially around level 12 to 14, 12 to 16. Actually, no, it's like level 12 to like 18. I've struggled hard with these things. I didn't have very good gear. I didn't have anything really to heal myself. Eventually, you do get bracing attack, but this thing's got it's got a long cooldown for a single fight, 30 seconds. They kill you a lot quicker than that. So the ring race, the race spawning, and then you kill them, you get your their tokens, their currency. I really haven't looked over like what you buy with that, but your cap is like 1,000, so I think you're meant to slay out on these things eventually. But fighting them, having them spawn, I think is fucking genius. Fucking genius. Hats off to you. Is it Standing Stone Games? I gotta look it up. Who is actually in charge for this game? Yeah, fucking genius. Standing Stone Game, Daybreak, and Standing Stone Games, or whoever's in charge. I don't know. Whoever came up with this idea, fucking genius. Great. Just like a great experience. Now, oh no, did it actually fucking kick me? Oh no, I just completed the mission. Which one fucking was that? This one. Oh, I did complete it. So again, yeah, Raid, good fucking job. Anywho, moving on. See, there you go. If you have entered a restricted area, you'll be removed if you do not leave. You do not get removed, by the way. You don't get removed. At least not yet. So that's a thing. Now, how often these things spawn is the kind of the thing that's up for debate, of how often they pop up. Because again, these things are hard. You do have to like throw down the gauntlet with them, and they do just kind of fuck your day up, which is a good thing, I think. Makes things dangerous. But I can definitely see how it's frustrating because, like I said, my first one was in the Sarah Oakheart instance. So if you have one of these spawn in an instance and you're just not at a point where you can solo them and you want to get your instance done, yeah, that's kind of that kind of sucks. So I don't know if these things should be spawning in instances. I don't know how to feel about that one. I can see how it totally sucks. I don't know how much it really adds to be in instances because, there's supposed to be more storied moments. Not that, So I don't know. That one's kind of a bummer. I would put that in like a negative. So any other positives would just be, just normal Lotro stuff. The combat feels good. Everything else feels good. Oh, here's a big positive. The 60, I never really considered the 64-bit servers. And that may have been why I didn't really have any lag when I did my first recording. And I guess it's more of an EU thing because the servers are based in US and they now have their own server. So I'm happy for the EU players. I hope they get the most out of it. So like that's a good thing. I really haven't experienced much like lag and latency Now there are times just because it was like popping off when the servers came up that you would get like stuck in place and then kicked and you come back and it'd be fine. But that not a huge issue. That just happens with online games when they're like really like when there's a large crowd or population all playing at once. That one's not a big deal. So I give the servers and the latency like thumbs up, good job. And so yeah, that's I feel like that's most the good, right? Haven't done like a a Nazgul fight, one of the 9. Haven't fought one of them. I look forward to hunting them down. But these are still just early impressions. And now let's move on to the bad. Okay, now let's get into the bad. So for me, a progression server, I don't like the fact that, the store and you get everything, all your bonuses and stuff. I would prefer just a clean wipe, everybody on the same, everybody having like the same starting stuff. Nobody gets an advantage. None of like your bonus items come with you. I would prefer everybody be on an even foot, and then nobody has like an advantage. I also have like some of those bonus items and I'm using them. So it's like okay, well, you don't want those things, then just like don't use them. But as a community and like, I was almost say like the integrity of the experience, for me, I'd want everybody on even footing, but it's just not that way. You have people who were level 50 in the first like 2 hours or something as soon as the servers came up, essentially, just because of all the boosters and just things they can do. And it just kind of feels weird to like be playing and like you're just going through like, the leveling and stuff, and then it's just like you just know there's these people who are like just straight to the end. It's just like a weird feeling. I know it's like play the way you want and it shouldn't affect your experience, and it really doesn't at all. But it is just kind of like this thing's like, well, that kind of sucks. I wouldn't necessarily call it pay to win. I don't even want to get into that topic because it's just like everybody has their own definitions. At the end of the day, if the game's fun, it's fun. I wouldn't let it bother you. And Lotro lets you basically play the entire game. If you pay a sub, you get access to basically everything. So it's like, it's not that big of a deal. But I would put that in a bad category. It's just the fact that you get all this like extra crap. You would think with a progression server that if the content's just 1 to 50, that's the cap, right? That you'd be locked to like that 50 content. So everybody wants to just experience the content up until Angmar. So technically, it just feels weird that the mission system and Gunbard and Gunbard where I am. Is it Gunbard? I have to look this up. Yeah, it just feels weird that the Gunbard stuff is like available and there's people here doing it. I'm doing it. So it's like, you're a fucking hypocrite. And it's like, yeah, kind of. Like, I just want to see how this kind of worked if it did, and it does. So it's like, and I've leveled already. So, I've done that experience, and like, it's almost like the devs need to like, I wish they would have taken that extra step to ensure that like the integrity of the experience, if that is the intent of like, what I said before, where the 1 to 50 is supposed to be up until Angmar. If the intent and the spirit of the game, and that's what the, the vision is supposed to be, then you would kind of want the devs to go that extra step further to, to reinforce that integrity. And it just wasn't done. So like, that's kind of weird. And again, it's just a progression server. So like, who really gives a shit? But, you do kind of want to experience, the good old days with these servers a little bit. And you do kind of get that from the Brie experience, like I said earlier, because you don't get this doesn't open up until level 20. That's when you get the mail. That's the other thing. The mail gets sent to you. So it's just like, well, I guess I should check it out. And it's like, shit, this fucking works. It's weird. Like I said, it's weird. This is my second character though. So I intend to, my other character, I'm just doing the Before the Shadows. That's how I'm leveling that character. But this one, I'm just kind of like, whatever. I'm just kind of like seeing kind of what breaks the game. Because that's kind of like something that people just do in general. It's just like, how can I really fuck with this game and stuff? And so that's kind of a bummer. I put that as like one negative. Not a huge deal, but it is what it is. But adversely, I mean, on the flip side, you could say like doing this it's just like another way to level, some people, this is just the way they prefer to level. And I get that too. So who am I to say what should be allowed, what shouldn't be allowed? What is this server really supposed to be? Because you know what, some days, yeah, this is like just like the vibe that, I'd want to do. It's just like easy missions, just to run in, get just straight to like, basically just straight to like kind of like the content and stuff that like I like to do, which I do like to combat. I like being in the world. I like being in like areas that are like compact and like rich and with stuff to do, and like missions and dungeons. Like that's why I like dungeons as well. So yeah, let me know what you guys think about, the whole like the missions. These are still here. These are still in the game. And like you can kind of just get access to things that maybe are or are not intended. I don't know. It says it kicks you out of the zone. So I gotta imagine that being here is not intended, but again, you can be here, so is what it is. And then I think the other thing that's kind of bad, I hate to say that, but is like the modern way that things are scaled in old content. And like, again, progression server. So it's just weird that, you know, you can like solo, like none of the stuff that you're doing is like the spirit of like how it was back then. If that makes any sense. Wrapping things up for like my first impressions and what the server's like, I guess like the biggest draw of it, and is it really worth it because of the Nazgul and the Wraith encounters that, you know, spawn. I do think I think it's a great thing, and I think this is definitely like something to come back and try and like stick around. Like, what else are they going to do when, you know, Moria comes out? Is it just going to be the same thing? Like, is this the only difference with this progression server? And I would hope not, because I think they are onto something that's really good here. And maybe this server, like, you know, the big thing about it is just these spawning race and hunting down Nazgul, and really that's like the main draw. This being available and stuff really isn't a big deal, you know, because if you want to go play that normal experience, go back to the normal servers. Maybe it's going to be about grabbing your fellowship, going down and hunting Nazgul, and stuff like that. I didn't mention picking up rings because I haven't seen any in game. I haven't seen anybody link one. I've heard them talk about somebody found like a healing one, so I can't speak much about those right now. Again, I'm only in the first 22 levels on this character, so like I haven't seen any of that, and I've only heard like a little bit of chatter in the world chat, but nothing substantial. I haven't even gotten to the North Downs to kind of check out the vendor, because when you kill, you know, these wraiths, you get their tatters, and it's a currency. So maybe I'll do another video kind of talking about like, because I'm gonna hit 50 eventually. I kind of just take my time. I'm gonna hit 50 eventually, and maybe I'll just kind of give like my thoughts on what the 50 experience is like. But so far so good. I really, this just like, it's so crazy. This small little thing of just having this race spawn just adds this certain like exciting element to like just like stuff that I've done 1,000 times already in this game. So it just goes to show, like, as long as you just change the formula up just a smidge, it really does kind of like reignite, like, I don't know, a lot of fun in this game. So yeah, no, I think that's about it for this video. I was pretty pleased. I didn't think anybody was gonna watch the last one because I literally was just rambling. But I was actually just gonna move on to the next video in that kind of like that series. But just because of the engagement of what, you know, people were talking about, and the fact that people watch it, like 1,000 views for me, huge. That is like telling me like, it is telling me like, oh man, I want to talk to more people about, you know, what's going on with this game that, you know, I love, you know. So it just made me excited. I'm like, fuck it, I'm jumping in. Let's see what's going on with this new server. I'm having a good time, so I'm happy to keep, you know, making videos and talking about this game, because again, this lotro does have like that nostalgia hit for me, and I do think it's just like, even like by today's standards, there's a lot of quality in this game still. I mean, I think I'll do a 50 video, you know, on like how it's going at 50, and then we'll see what happens from there. Maybe I'll jump onto the normal live server and try to get like caught up and see what that's all about. But I will continue my, you know, my WTF, my what the fuck happened to, and the next game's going to be actually a game before lotro, but wasn't technically an MMO, but by today's standards, I think we would call it an MMO, but back then it wasn't. So again, this technically was my first MMO, but I'll have that video probably next week. This is just something I like to do one day on the weekend, kind of go back into a time capsule of like old games that I just don't play on like a daily basis anymore. So yeah, until then guys, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Peace!